I think I just wrote one blog because I'd been very distant from a lot of my friends at uni and things like that with being in hospital with mum, and rather than trying to explain it to people individually, it was easier just to write one thing and send it round. But then I got a really good response from it, so I realised the value of writing it. My mum and I had a really turbulent relationship when I was a teenager, but when she was first diagnosed and had chemo, I was on my gap year, so we spent a lot of time together while she was recovering and I was working or being at home, and we grew really, really close over that time. I started my blog when I was about 18 and did a few blogs around volunteering and around education, but I really started blogging properly last May after mum had just come out of a coma. My mum was first diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 18. It wasn't really a big thing. She had chemo, she had radiotherapy, and around Easter 2013 she got the all clear. She never made a big deal of the illness though. She carried on at work, she popped off radiotherapy in her lunch hours. And then in February 2014 she was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I didn't realise that if breast cancer comes back in the same form, it's terminal. When the terminal diagnosis first came through, we were given a time of something like 4 weeks to 4 years. So initially, we just carried on as normal because we didn't really know what else to do. In September 2014, she began to get very poorly and had chemo and was in and out of hospital. In February 2015, she went into a coma. That's when I started blogging about her illness and the impact of it on my life. I do think it's powerful to share a story, and I'm amazed by the response I get. I get emails from people who have clearly never spoken about their grief, and all I can respond to them is say thank you for sharing your story, but it shows how one person sharing their story can encourage others to share theirs as well. She came out of the coma, which nobody expected she would, but never really regained the health that she had, and got a bit better for a while but then deteriorated until the 23rd of October 2015 when she died. My dad rang me, and when I saw his name on my phone I knew what he was going to tell me. I went to my room and was absolutely fine because I was in complete shock. And I went and saw mum, but she looked like she was asleep. She didn't look like she died. And I spent a bit of time with her. I don't know if it ever sinks in. I don't know if you ever get used to it. I don't know what I'll feel like in 6 months or a year's time. There's an awful lot of things to get used to where I would normally text my mum and now I go to text her and I can't. I initially left uni for a couple of months. I've taken a leave of absence. That meant that I also had to move out of where I was living. It meant that I had to stop seeing the counsellor I was seeing, and it meant that I lost my job. I'm hoping to keep blogging because it's bringing people together and it's encouraging conversation. I am struggling at the moment to have the words to describe what I'm feeling, so my blogs have slowed down slightly. Partly because grief is really boring and there's not a lot to write about. When somebody's ill, things change every week. But when you're grieving, it's quite a boring process to go through. So there's not really anything to say, but then when I do write and I think it's nothing, I get a lot of response. So I think it's important to keep writing even if I don't think it's very interesting. I think you learn very quickly that you can handle a lot more than you ever thought you could, and that life goes on. Whether you spend that day in bed or whether you spend the day outside, the days are still 24 hours and they still continue and time still passes. I hope that people will read what I write and feel a little bit less alone. If they find my blog at 2 o'clock in the morning when they don't know what else to do, then that's great. If it encourages them to go and speak to somebody, that's great. I think it's just important for people to know that whatever they're going through, they're not alone. There is somebody else out there feeling the same way.